Good morning, Broncos country. We've got a Cooper Kupp update to talk about on today's show. We've got some new teams in the mix. We've got a little bit, not quite a source off, but, conflicting-ish reports, we'll say, between a few NFL insiders as to whether or not Denver's interest in Kupp is really significant. But when a decision is made, which the Athletics, Dianna, Russini think it could be made as early as today, we will get a video out to you. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That way you know as soon as Kupp makes a decision as to where he wants to play next. But some new teams have entered the mix, including the Dallas Cowboys. And when I saw this morning, I was very surprised because this is not the Cowboys' free agency MO. They usually do not make big-ish or big signings whatsoever in free agency. We can go through what they've done so far this year, and all re-signings right here. This is much more of Dallas's speed. They have made much greater external signings this year than previous years. Javonte Williams, Robert Jones, Solomon Thomas getting up to $8 million. So they are making some progress for their fan base in terms of bringing in some new faces and actually doing something in free agency. Still, Peyton Turner, $3 million. The biggest contract they've given out so far is $8 million to Solomon Thomas. And you compare that to the last 5 years for the Cowboys, $3 million, $1.2 million, $2 million, $5.5 million. This is just not their speed. So I think Kupp could get, even on the low end, $8 to $10 million, which would still be a huge increase from any other spending they've done on an external free agent signing in the last half decade plus. So we've got Dallas making a push, which I don't actually believe. I think the Cowboys just want their fan base to think, we tried, sorry guys, but we gave it a good effort, so please don't be mad at us for not doing anything in free agency. We put our foot forward and it just didn't work out. No, I don't think they actually have any real interest. I'll be very surprised if they end up signing Kupp. Now, another team making some moves, the New Orleans Saints, which I don't understand how they have the space to do it. They've signed Justin Reed, they've extended Chase Young, and they are an absolute cap hell. So the cap's a myth, the cap's not a myth. I don't get it. The Saints continue to defy the salary cap laws of gravity, but they evidently are a part of it as well. So let's consolidate it down to 5 teams that have been named. The Cowboys, the Saints. That's today by Schefter and The Athletic. And then yesterday by Schefter, he called out the Broncos, the Patriots, and the Seahawks, which we talked about in depth on last night's video. Now, what I talked about in that video was I'm interested in Kupp, but for the right price. Like $8 to $10 million is something that I can get on board with. Anything north of $10 million, and I think you're signing up to be disappointed for what you're paying versus what you're actually going to get based on the last 3 years of Cooper Kupp. And Jeff Howe from The Athletic says Kupp is looking for as high as $15 million. Now, when I saw this, the first thing I thought of was, who told Howe this? Because I doubt Cooper Kupp's agent's like, let's let everyone know what we're looking for. No, I think one of the teams let this information out to a reporter to maybe try and drive the price down. If everyone goes, he's looking for that much? No way. No one's going to pay you that much. You've been too injury-plagued the last 3 seasons. Nice try, Cooper Kupp. And then they can bring him in on a cheaper contract. So he's looking for 15. I don't think he's going to get 15. I think it's much closer to 10 than 15, which 10 is the number that I've kind of drawn a line in the sand for, that I won't go above. It's not my money. It's not going to have a dramatic influence on the salary cap if it's $8 million versus $11 million, but I just think you are going to be underwhelmed for what you're picturing for that type of signing and that type of dollar amount versus what you're actually going to get. Now, what we talked about a lot yesterday was Adam Schefter happening on some Denver Sports Talk radio and saying that Cooper Kupp would be interested in joining the Broncos. Now, I think it's really important to read what Schefter says kind of verbatim here. If Kupp had his way, I think he would like to be in Denver. I think that'd be one of the places that would appeal to him. Now, there was much more to Schefter's appearance on Altitude SR, but I definitely, and a lot of people too, and fairly so, interpreted that as Cooper Kupp and the Broncos have some mutual interest. Benjamin Albright, who I think is a good reporter for the Broncos and has some good sources and things like that, pushes a different direction. He interpreted as Cooper Kupp wants to come to Denver, but Denver doesn't want Cooper Kupp. Saying, don't let anyone try to lie to you. It didn't get too expensive. They weren't in. So at this point, if you're taking Albright's word for it, which he definitely has plenty of hits and sure some misses as well, but that's just a part of the reporting game, it doesn't seem like Kupp to Denver has much of a chance at all unless Kupp goes to the Broncos with, hey, I turned down $12 million from New England. I'll sign here for $7 million. At which point the Broncos go, we never really had much interest in you because we thought you'd only settle for $12 million. But the fact that you'd come down to $7 million, well then sure, I mean, we'd be dumb not to at that price point. But as I've said, I think Kupp is going to be not what everyone is picturing based on his last 3 years of work. The decreasing ability to create separation, the injuries, and frankly, the lack of production. I mean, if you prorate those games or those stats over 17 games, if you prorate his 2022 numbers, and he's got a great 1,000-plus yard season with close to 10 touchdowns. But the last couple of years, you can see the slip in the decline, and I think Stafford leaning much more towards Puka Nakua's way than Kupp's way, even when Cooper was healthy, probably says a lot right there. After the two had such a special connection in 2021, why would Stafford not go to a healthy Cooper Kupp on the field? So I think Kupp still has some quality NFL football left in him. I still think he can be a good contributor to a team. I don't think he's going to be, and I don't think anyone here should think or believe he really will be that Triple Crown winner quite ever again. He's 32 years old, and he's dealing with injuries, and the human body just does not respond to injuries as well as it does when you're younger versus when you're 32 years old. So I'll ask this to you guys right now. If Denver passes on Cooper Kupp, which that's what Albright's pointing to, we'll see what happens, would that be a mistake? Do you feel like this is a missed opportunity? Potentially, right? Hypothetical right now. No decision made just quite yet. It's 9 a.m. on the dot right now as I'm filming Mountain Time. So give me a yes or give me a no. Personally, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I think it'd be fun on paper. I think it'd make the month of March really exciting. Like, oh my God, Denver, Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, Evan Ingram, Cooper Kupp. Who's stopping this? Injuries, for one, because that's been the common theme for all four players. So I don't mind gambling on Hufanga with the injury, with Greenlaw for the injury, with Ingram for the injury. You bring in four guys who all missed significant time the last 2 seasons with injuries. You're flying close to the sun, that's for sure. And Denver's already made their bed with 3 players, which I like those signings. If I had to rank them, it probably goes in order of signings. Hufanga, Greenlaw, Ingram. But I would be all right if Kupp ends up somewhere else. Speaking of which, if I had to give you my prediction, I'm kind of thinking Seattle. I think the Seahawks could make a nice pitch to him for targets now that Metcalf and Lockett are gone, for revenge factor against the Rams twice a year, and a homecoming to the Pacific Northwest after going to college at Eastern Washington. So there's a lot, I think, drawing him there. I don't believe he wants to go to the Saints just because they don't seem like they're going in the right direction. The Cowboys I don't think is serious or legitimate. If we rule out Denver because there's no interest from the Broncos side of things, it leaves 2 destinations, Seattle and New England. Very far cities. He's been a West Coast guy his entire life. One team barely missed the playoffs. Another team's picking 4th overall in the draft. The Patriots maybe offer an extra $1 million or $2 million, maybe even $3 million. And that could persuade someone. I don't know Cooper Kupp and his spending habits. Maybe he's put it all away and he doesn't need an extra $3 million and he wants to go where he thinks the best destination for him is at the twilight days of his career. But yeah, put me down for thinking Cooper Kupp is going to be a Seattle Seahawk this year. Okay, that is it for right now. But if more information comes out, you know we're going to get a video out to you. Plus, we will be live for a 5th and final day of NFL free agency. So come back at noon Mountain Time, 2 Eastern Time for more on the Kupp situation and other Broncos signings. Also, on your way out the door, check out this great deal from Fanatics, chatsports.com/Fanatics. It's a Bo Nix jersey. They're doing a 25% off sale. So if you want to get some Broncos gear in your life without breaking the bank, use our link. I put it in the comments and description of today's video. Really appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching our content. If you're still watching, scroll on down, drop a random emoji. That's just our secret way of knowing who the end of the video crew is.